Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Millennium stage at the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. My name is Robert Ainsley, and I am the director of the WNO Cafritz Young Artist Program and the American Opera Initiative at Washington National Opera. And at WNO at the moment, we are in the throes of rehearsal for Alcina, and I do hope that you will join us between November 4th and 19th, and especially on November 18th for the Young Artist cast performance in the Eisenhower Theater. But as distraction from all of that operatic silliness, tonight it is my great pleasure to announce a new component of our program, the WNO Cafritz Young Artist Recital Series. Now, while our artists' main focus will always be their work on the operatic stage, there is something about the act of standing on a bare stage and simply singing a song without costumes, lighting, orchestra, chorus, or even plot, which is incredibly immediate, direct, and revealing as an artist. Our focus becomes concentrated purely on the voice, the poetry, the relationship between singer and pianist, with no gimmicks to fall back on. The song lives or dies on its delivery. The exposure, the intimacy, the nakedness of song is a vital part of a singer's toolbox, and the vast art song repertoire is full of absolute gems. Some of my favorite, most transformative experiences musically have been in an art song recital hall. Without song, Schubert, Schumann, Wolf, Duparc, Tosti, all these names will be lost to us. So this season, each young artist will have the opportunity to try out and preview some of their song here on the Millennium stage, and then participate in a recital at an intimate venue around the city soon afterwards. Each recital will be tailored to the venue in which we perform, and our inaugural recital will be held next Saturday night, write down the date, October 21st, at the beautiful Krieger Museum. Now, if you've not been to the Krieger was the family home of David and Carmen Krieger, and David was president, CEO, and chairman of Geico, so he obviously liked British accents. But he was also an avid art lover and collector, and his home was designed to be turned into an art museum after his death. And it now houses the most extraordinary selection of works by Monet, Degas, Rodin, Cézanne, Van Gogh, Picasso, Braque, Chagall, you name it, they're all there. Our first recital will take place amid their current standing exhibition in the Great Hall and adjacent rooms, and takes those pieces as its inspiration. Paintings of water, snow, mists, beaches, a wall of flower paintings, a room full of Cubist Picasso and Braque works. So this first recital will be an artistic journey from Impressionism through Expressionism, even into Cubism. And we begin with Gabriel Fauré, one of the fathers of musical Impressionism. One of the traits of musical Impressionism is the idea of painting broad overall effects rather than individual details. And both of these first mélodies use that guiding principle. In Les Berceaux, the constant locking of the accompaniment is both the lapping of the waves on the shore and the locking of the children's cradles by their mothers as they watch the fathers leave for overseas adventures as they wait for them back on land. The second song, Fleur, jetée, angrily likens love to a flower, picked and then discarded. Initially so beautiful and full of promise, but it soon withers and fades. It contains all the wild passion and pain of lost love. So, to sing Les Berceaux and Fleur jetée by Gabriel Fauré, please welcome tenor Frederick Ballentine.
Grand vaisseau
So now we stay with French music and we move forward to Francis Poulenc, whose work straddles Impressionism and Cubism. And our first song has a vaguely Cubist title, La Grenouillère, or The Froggery. This actually refers to an island in the Seine in the suburbs of Paris, where painters like Renoir used to frequent to paint the masses enjoying themselves on a Sunday afternoon with boating and picnics. You've seen those paintings. Those boats are now empty, sadly bumping gently together by the banks, which you can hear in the piano accompaniment. This is a song touched with beautiful nostalgia. Here, nostalgia also for the impressionist painters of the past. And the second Poulenc song is one of his greatest creations, The Paths of Love, or Les Chemins de l'Amour. He had that impressionistic ability to be able to capture the very essence of a poem perfectly in broad strokes, and this glorious song, with its lost paths of love, covered in flowers, leading down to the sea, does just that. To sing these two exquisite Poulenc songs, please welcome Leah Hawkins, soprano. Just heavenly. I love that, so I can die in that song. Impressionist influences can be found all over the world, not just in France. And we're moving now to Russia and Rachmaninoff, that great concert pianist. He's going to give me a bit of a workout. These two blustery songs deal with storms at sea, and the Krieger's walls are full of these watery paintings. And the first song, Arion, describes a shipwreck with a sole survivor. And Arion was a mythological horse, immensely swift and endowed with the power of speech, sired by the sea god Poseidon himself, while he had taken the form of a stallion. The second song is entitled simply The Storm, and it depicts a beautiful woman standing proudly on a cliff during a tempest, illuminated by flashes of lightning, her white veil flying in the wind. Please welcome back tenor Frederick Ballentine. Good, I can stop sweating now. So now we move to the beginnings of Expressionism, which sprang from a desire to approach art subjectively, from an attempt to describe how we feel about something rather than its physical reality. So we think of Edvard Munch's painting The Scream, and some of the works of Van Gogh as the beginning of this movement, which includes works by figures like El Greco, Francis Bacon, Max Beckmann. Now, some of the most impressive first works by a composer ever come from the pen of Alban Berg. His first piano sonata is truly formidable for a young composer, and it was followed shortly by his magnificent Sieben frühe Lieder, his 7 early songs, and we're going to give you the first 3. Now, Berg is one of those frightening names that's remembered mainly for his contributions to the Second Viennese School, with all of that sort of scary atonality and 12-tone music. And that includes his operatic masterpieces like Wozzeck and Lulu. But his music's actually deeply rooted in romanticism and tonality, and these early songs show that very clearly. Now, in the first song, Nacht, imagine yourself standing all alone at night on a hillside overlooking a valley, and suddenly the mists clear, revealing great silvery mountains and a town down in the valley with its twinkling lights. Your eye goes from low to high, it takes in the whole vista, and you feel how the music allows that scene to open up before you, and it fully describes that feeling. The second song is also a bit of a revelation. Our poet is by a pond at dusk with the reeds rustling, but gradually we discover that this is a song of lost love, and hope for this love affair is actually buried beneath the waters of this pond. And the third is the most famous of this set, the Nightingale. It turns out that birds and flowers are a good metaphor for absolutely everything in art, it seems, even for what love can do to us. So to sing these 3 really exquisite lieder, please welcome mezzo-soprano Allegra De Vita.
Schweben
And we're going to finish with another name that can strike fear into the hearts of unsuspecting audience members, but I'm here to show you that it's nothing to be frightened of. These next two songs are by Arnold Schoenberg, but here he is also in his early period, before he adopted the 12-tone system. Now, his early works are extraordinary, like Berg's, and they have a complete, fully formed grasp of every aspect of tonality. And these cabaret songs, these Brettellieder, are sheer delight. Both of these next songs are full of innuendo, passion, naughtiness. The poet's delight in every part of his beloved's body in Galatea, and a poet's afternoon visit, a little coach ride, and possibly a little something extra with the charming Gigarletta, a deliciously painted in scrumptious harmonies and musical wit. Please welcome back soprano Leah Hawkins. So that's a taste of the wonderful recital these three artists are preparing. I do hope you can join us for the full thing at the Krieger Museum on October 21st for a wine and cheese reception, a little stroll around the gallery, followed by this beautiful recital which draws on all of the paintings that will surround you. It'll be a very intimate and special evening. You can find tickets on the Krieger Museum's website. You can also find a link on the upcoming performances tab of the Domingo Cafritz Young Artists Program's website. Doors open at 6:30. Seating's very limited. Book soon. Of course, if you can't make that night, or better still, if you can, but you want to see the rest of the Domingo Cafritz program perform as well, you can join us the following day, Sunday, October 22nd at 5 p.m. We are busy people, for a concert devoted to the music of Leonard Bernstein, the centennial of whose birth, as you well know, is this coming year. This concert, part of the Georgetown concert series at St. John's Episcopal Church, will touch on all parts of his output, his opera, his musicals, his song, his sacred music, and it features all the other members of our program. We have 2 numbers from that concert for you now. The first is an aria from his opera Trouble in Tahiti, which is a commentary on suburban American life in the 50s. The opera depicts one single day in the life of Sam and Dinah, a married couple going through some difficulties in their relationship. It's actually a tremendously sad opera. Now, in this scene, Dinah is at her analyst's, recounting a dream she has had. Now, Bernstein will forever be also remembered for his contributions to Broadway, all of which have become an integral part of American culture, particularly West Side Story. This aria, Maria, needs little introduction. So first to sing There Is a Garden, please welcome mezzo-soprano Eliza Bonet, and to sing the part of Tony, we have tenor Alexander McKissick. At the keyboard is now pianist Christopher Kelzer.
Harmony grace. I ran to him, he vanished like smoke. I reached, I called, and I awoke.
Most beautiful sound I ever heard. Maria, 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 Maria. All the beautiful sounds of the world in a single word. Maria, 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 Maria. I've just met a girl named Maria, and suddenly that name will never be the same to me. Maria, I've just kissed a girl named Maria, and suddenly I found how wonderful a sound can be. Maria, say it loud and there's music playing. Say it soft and it's almost like praying. Maria, I'll never stop saying Maria. It's almost like praying. Maria, I'll never stop saying Maria. The most beautiful sound I ever heard.
Never gets old, that one, does it? So you have to come on Sunday, October 22nd, to the Georgetown Concert Series at St. John's Episcopal Church. It's going to be a wonderful weekend next weekend. You'll get to see all of our Domingo Cafritz young artists doing what they do best. So I hope you'll join us. So we're going to close today literally on a high note with a delightful song by a lady called Mana Tsuka. That's actually her name. She was an American pianist, singer, and composer who lived a fascinating life across the 20th century, and she passed away in Miami in only 1981. And this fitting end to our preview of these two exciting events will be sung by baritone Christopher Kenny, again accompanied by Christopher Kelzer. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next weekend. It's been a pleasure.
Fullness, take all it can give. I love life, every moment must count, to glory in its sunshine and revel in its bound. I love life, I want to live, I love life, it holds me in its sway. My heart hears its music, a melody gladsome and gay. I love life, I'll have none of worldly strife. Oh, but to live